Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Mountaineer Bushcraft and Survival System. A little different video today. We'll take a look at a knife that I typically wouldn't buy, but the company Eafengrow has made a bold claim, so we're going to put that claim to the test. So, guys, just give me a minute and we'll get set back up and get you down to the stump top. So, here we go. This is the Eafengrow 134. It is the same steel as the 129. There, if you can read it, it's the DC 53, and as you can tell by the blade, I've already used it. I'll be honest with you, I already made a video on it once, or started to, and I've decided that after talking to a friend, because I'm not real super big on the cutouts, and just hopefully I'd found a picture to post there with the script where Eafengrow is claiming that this can still be beaten and used hard despite the cutouts in the handle. So I think I just decided challenge accepted. It's $60 on Amazon right now. That's where I purchased this, Amazon, for $60. I do like the design. It's somewhat of a Tonto. Got pretty nice grind lines, decently sharp. Now the handle is just on too small for me, but I can kind of squish my hands in there to make it work. But I got fairly large hands, so as you can see, my pinky actually wraps around that heel right there. Now if I push real hard up into the choil here, I can force my pinky in behind that. It's fairly uncomfortable. You can see it kind of smushing my hand together, but it does lock in pretty good if you're chopping with this thing. So I mean, I don't even think I'd need a lanyard because how tight that fits. But if you have large hands and smaller, it'll definitely fit you just fine. But I mean, so I can manage it. So typical sheath, it's the pancake design. It's got the tech lock. If I do decide to ever wear this out, obviously I'm going to take my tech lock off, throw it aside somewhere in the box, and put my preferred carry on that. I mean, I'll keep the sheath just like the EF129. Same thing I did. I just replaced the tech lock off of it and put a normal carry on it. Let's see. This thing's overall is about 10 1/4. Cut the blade. It's a little hard with that angle. There's a grand total of around just shy of 6 inches. Your actual cutting surfaces are going to be a little different. So we're looking at roughly 3 inches there, and from tip to down to there, 2 3/4 on the belly of the edge there. It's that really good thick stock, about 1/4 inch thick. Now this one comes up to a more normal taper compared to the Tonto of the EF129. So real quick, just going to see if we can get her to throw some sparks. That's usually one of the primary tests I like to do. See what we got with that. That's pretty weak. Let's see. That sharpening tool is really sharp. Let's see if that'll rake it. Oh yeah. Okay. Just if you're going to use a ferro rod with this, just, I mean, obviously your grinds may vary. You may have a more sharper spine if you get one yourself, but right now the sharpening tool area on mine is wicked 90 degrees. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, shoe can spark a ferro rod, so at least we got that going. Now again, I've not, have had it a secret. I do not like cutouts. My personal opinion, it weakens the knife integrity. It's like the integrity of the knife is compromised to me. If you cut like 70% of this handle right here, go from just maybe a half inch below this and a half inch above this, or is a massive cutout right here. And about 70% of the steel in this handle is no steel there. So they're making a bold claim that you can be tough with this knife. Okay, fair enough. We'll give it a try. So I'm going to be a little rough with it. But let me get a little bit of wood set up. Let's do this thing outhouse review style like normal. We'll do some basic stuff with it first. Then I may just, still got plenty of red oak laying here in the corner. I just may decide to just bash this thing through some red oak and see if we have our failure right here around this handle area. So stick with me and we'll get everything set up for you. Let's go ahead and make a quick feather stick here. Just real quick. Those are pretty nice, thin, fine shavings. So again, if you have trouble with the knife, if you can at the very least make a whole lot of these, it'll work in substitution of your standard feather stick. So, and that was my fault right there. Knocked them off. Also really helps when you're making your feather sticks if you rotate as you're cutting off a flat. You're catching these sharp 90-degree corners, usually your first cut. Slightly rotate the stick, cut again, rotate it again, cut again, and then work your way back. So that way you keep a nice 90-degree shelf here that you're cutting off of. That really helps get the feather sticks. And if you're cutting a round piece of wood, if the knife is not really sharp, you usually have a lot more trouble making a feather stick off a round stick until you start shelving it out a little bit. Now, focus on what I'm doing there. Don't be dummy. Okay. Of course, as you can imagine, that wasn't going to be much of a challenge for this knife. Makes real good feather stick. And since I've had it, and I've been doing just your general carving on pine and whatnot with it, I've not honed this edge yet. It's still as it was right out of the box. Like I said, done original video. It was maybe 8-minute long video, but I'd already battened it to pine and I've already done all the basic stuff with it. But like I said, I didn't have the best attitude when I was doing that video. So after my conversation with my friend I had, I was like, let's just not be that way about things and give this thing a fair chance. So let's get this guy out. We'll need that here in a little bit. Trying to find the ugly stick. Did we throw away our ugly stick? Nope, no, that's not the ugly stick. We're done. Okay. We may have lost an ugly stick, y'all. All right. We're going to have a new contender then. This is another horrendously knotted up ugly piece of pine here. So I guess no better time to break in a new ugly stick than with a new knife. So we're just going to kind of start hogging into that. I would like to cut that off there, because let's go ahead and knock that bad boy off. That way we can actually get a nice, good, proper cut on it. So we'll get a little bit of pre-batoning in here. Oh, I found the original ugly stick laying on the floor. What's left of it. That's all right. We need a bigger hunk anyway. It's actually not too bad. The blade geometry on this seems to be a little more slicey than the EF129. However, you definitely don't have near the blade, the tip strength on this one. So let's try to get the Tonto in here on some action. Again, the steel is a little bit thicker coming up into that Tonto. So you're not going to get really fine cuts very well unless you reshape that yourself and put your own edge on it. However, that's not doing too bad. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. So we got that off of it. So that'd definitely be handy for fire starting. All right. Let's see what we got here. I'm not going to go for a crazy huge piece for a quick chop test. However, let's just a little length of this red oak here, and we're going to chop down here on the bottom. Adjust you down just a hair, you can see it better. Chop around down here at the bottom of this. See about making a little bit of a spike tip on it. Let's say we were making a tent spike or a stake or something. I'm trying to hit the blade, and, fill out its length, and then after this, we're going to batten this bad boy through some wood, and then I'm also, I'm going to see if it'll shave. So I'm not going. You might have to just deal with me doing a setup. So I'm not going to stop the video, because after I do this, I'm going to batten through some of this oak, and then we're going to see if it'll shave hair after the fact. So there's not going to be any cuts, except for the wood. But I want to do it that way. That way everybody knows that, I didn't hone this after the fact. So what you see is what you get. That's decent enough. That was pretty decent size hunk of red oak there. All right now. Well, tell you what. Why not, huh? A pretty decent, respectable size piece of oak. We've got a gnarly, ugly, nasty knot. This was left over from the 129 test. This knot was so bad it was literally forcing the blade to go wherever the knot wanted. So here we go. We're going to test this thing. Let's test it. Get the stump out of the way. Let's drop you guys down so you can see. Let's get us our batten. Let's see that. We'll go through there. This whole big bulbous part right here is just a solid knot. And that's what I'm going to drive this thing through. And as usual, I understand this is not what a knife's meant to do. This isn't a small round of pine. It's not shelter building or something. This is, honest to goodness, abuse of this tool. And I just want to make that perfectly clear before we get started. So, if this thing breaks, I understand I got no one to be mad at but myself. However, I do expect in this case, this seemed more of a survival knife to me than a bushcraft knife. I expect it to do this, plus the claims that Eafengrow has made. So, without further ado, I want there right now, that is the resistance that this thing's got doing this is amazing. So I'm having to hit it mighty hard to get the blade to go through this. It's still forcing the blade to go where it wants. So there's so much side-to-side pressure on different sections of that blade. Like I said, doing this with this kind of wood is tantamount to breaking the knife on purpose. So let's try to drop the camera out of frame. Down there near the bottom. Now I'm leaning way over, so this is kind of a pain in the butt for me to see what I'm doing. But there's still a good little slight bend in that blade, which hopefully will come back to true. Yeah, boy, that thing is not wanting to give up the ghost. There we go. Need a little more steel to hit. There we go. All right, just give me a second. Let's try to get this stuff out of the way. All right, let's get the camera back up here. Stuck back in. There we go. All right. Now we got blades perfectly straight. So let's check that edge. Don't see any chips or rolls. Still feels decently sharp. However, and yeah, I just went and got one of these ready. So that way you guys can see how easy it is to get that scuffing off the steel. It's not marred at all, but it's a fairly high polished. It's not like mirror by any means, but it's a decent polish. So all of them will see. I clean right off of it. It's not marred that steel at all. All right. My poor, nearly bald left arm here. If I wasn't so right-handed, I'd switch over and cut some hair off the right arm, but I'm so right-handed, I'm afraid to hurt myself if I try to cut that with the left hand. So, all right. So there you go. After all that, that's shaved. So that tells me that the sharpness of this knife is its edge retention is up to par with the 129. So far so good. Check over this handle. I don't see any cracks in the steel. Seems to have held up just fine. However, we'll have to go on a journey with multiple tests with this one too. So you may see this one tag teamed while I'm out there with the 129 just for the sake of getting some tests done. We're planning on doing test with the 129, doing a base camp kind of setup. Just get a shoulder belt and some fire going. I'm not obviously can't tell you for sure when I'll have time to get that done, because that'll take a good part of the whole day. But this might be tag teamed out there with it. I'll maybe do some different tests and tasks while I'm out there. So we'll, at the very least, we'll take the opportunity, since we're already going to be out there, do some field tests with this knife too. And I want to definitely put this thing through some rigors. That way, I just don't want to show you guys a blade and say, hey, yeah, this is nice, it's cheap, go buy this thing. Because I've got my own reservations, just due to the fact that we're talking, it's got the cutouts. I'm not a fan of that. And this knife could prove me wrong. I mean, that's always a possibility. But, I don't want someone to purchase something because they've seen it on this channel and then it fails them. And, then that makes me look bad, because, I've not had this thing long enough to say, especially considering it does have the cutouts. But like I said, we'll take Eafengrow at the word on it. We'll do a tiny little tip test. We're not going super deep here because, like I said, this ain't as robust tip. It's decent though, and the sight. Now doing this ain't really much of a tip test. Now, when you stab a knife into a piece of oak and you're starting to pop out the wood from side to side, that's a really, really hard test on a knife, because you're out here where the thin's usually, or the steel is usually the thinnest. So, but I had 5 or 6 good stabs there. The tip's perfectly fine, which is the beauty of the Tanto. It gets quite a bit of mass still going up there towards that tip. You still have a decently acute tip to work with. So it chops, it slices, it dices, it does everything a knife should do. It's like with always, when I'm looking at a blade that I've not owned for several years and has taken out and done all the stuff with it, I have to wait on that. We could definitely get some more testings, and I'll put this thing through a lot of abuse that I normally won't put a knife through unless I had absolutely no other choice. So that, nothing else, it'll be a way for me to kind of gauge, if it'll handle this much abuse in that amount of time. If you don't abuse it, then throughout its longer lifespan, obviously it should last even longer. So with that, thank you all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Oh, and I'd also like to thank Legion Tactical Cutlery, because his initial video I watched on the EF129 was primarily the reason I took the leap to buy that knife. And since that knife impressed me so much, has led to me giving this a try. But I'd like to thank him and for doing all the knife reviews. He did a pretty decently, but it's not a super hard review, but he chopped some pretty heavy duty wood with it, and he beat the crap out of the knife. So definitely thank you very much for your work on them videos, and it helped make me make an informed decision. And hopefully that's what some of my videos will do before anybody may purchase some gear. With that, y'all have a very good morning. I'll see y'all in another video.